You're appealing your denied VA claims wrong, and it's the whole reason your claims keep getting denied again and again. Fellow vets, today I'm showing you how to go about disagreeing with your VA claims, the 3 ways to do it, and the 1 way that almost all of us are doing that is the wrong way to go about it if you want to actually win your claim in a timely manner. I'm Jordan Anderson, VA Claims Academy. By the end of this video, you're going to have it all figured out. Let's get to it. There are 3 ways to go about disagreeing with, or some people say appealing, your VA disability claim. 2 of them are good and 1 of them sucks. And I'm going to show you which one sucks, and that's usually the one that most vets are going down the path of. So let's for a moment pretend like our VA disability rating is just like anything else that needs to be fixed or needs some troubleshooting done. Let's pretend that it's a car. What is the first thing you do, let's say when the check engine light comes on? Well, usually now with modern cars, you would pull out the diagnostic tool, kind of plug it in, and the computer will tell you which code that you need to troubleshoot this. What's wrong with it? Well, most veterans, their check engine light comes on and they drop a new transmission in there. They spend $10,000 dropping a new engine in. It's like, what are we doing? We don't even know what is the issue. I'm going to show you the actual efficient path to getting the problem fixed and identifying the problem so you know what it even is. First of all, there's 3 ways to go about disagreeing with your claim. We have an HLR, which is a higher level review. Essentially, hey, VA rater, get me your boss, get me your manager, have them take a look at this same claim as is. We have a supplemental claim. I always tell my clients, supplements make you stronger. This is when your claim was weak to begin with and you need to reinforce it with new evidence. You can supplement that claim with new evidence and get a whole process done. And then we have this one, which sucks, and this is an appeal. That's why Sir Patrick Stewart is here, because if we're in this territory, something probably went very wrong. Unless you have this crazy outlandish claim that needs to be in a courtroom, you don't want to be over here at all, and many veterans are caught in this place. I had someone a couple months ago, a client, who has been in the appeals process for 7 years. And no one wants to be there. So the first thing that you should do, now let's talk about this. When should you apply for a higher level review versus how do you know whether you should do a supplemental claim? The first thing to do is to make sure, again, plug in that diagnostic tool, and we got to see what went wrong, where's our error code. So if you're stumbling on my videos for the first time and maybe you've never heard of what a personal statement is, or you were trying to get service connected for something and didn't have a nexus letter, that's low-hanging fruit. Stick around on this channel or other VA disability channels, and you're gonna pick up things and be like, oh, wow, I totally missed the ball. I dropped the ball right there. I clearly need to add more lay evidence, or I clearly need to have nexus letters, so you'll know you need a supplemental claim. The best time to use a higher level review is when the problem was the VA rater, and you think that switching in a new rater will fix the issue. I'll get more specific on this, but some of the positives of a higher level review is 1, it's fast. This could take maybe 3 months and you're finished with a higher level review. One of the negatives, however, is that you can't add new evidence. So you cannot add new evidence at all. If you know that you're missing a personal statement, you're missing a nexus letter, or you didn't turn in this piece of medical evidence that would strengthen your claim, don't do a higher level review. We're going to touch on for a second how to determine, who gave you the incorrect nexus opinion. So when you go through your VA disability rating process, you go through your C&P exam, your compensation and pension exam. You're typically, if you get a bad decision, the first thing you want to do is actually submit a Freedom of Information Act request to pull the records of that C&P exam. That examiner could have given you a bad, what's called a nexus opinion, basically giving their opinion as a medical professional that your condition was not related to your service. So if you see that in there and you know that your claim has a bad nexus opinion from the examiner, what do you think the good would be of a higher level review, having another rater look at the exact same bad examiner's opinion? It's not going to do you very well, right? So that's where we come into a supplemental claim. Now this, again, supplements make you stronger. A supplemental claim is when you need to add evidence. This allows you to do so. So if you need a new CNP exam, you can get a new CNP exam in a supplemental claim. This is typically where I would say maybe around, probably 80% plus of my clients really have success here is in a supplemental claim range. Now, I want to just pause for a moment and let you know that getting denied is part of the process, right? A lot of our clients who end up having really high ratings didn't come in with that. They've been denied plenty of times. That's part of the process. There are so many factors outside of your control that as long as you're consistent and you're concerned with the process and not necessarily the result, you can have good long-term impacts and have long-term results. But getting denied, retooling your strategy, and doing supplemental claims, it's the name of the game, okay? So a supplemental claim. Again, we do this when the CNP examiner disagreed and kind of gave you a bad CNP exam, or when you had a lack of evidence to begin with, we're going to add some evidence with that. A supplemental claim, some positives that you can add, right? You can clarify. If you had, maybe a confusing personal statement, or, maybe even your examiner sort of wrote things down and misinterpreted what you were saying, you can clarify in a supplemental claim. But you can also pivot. Of course I did that. You can pivot. Now here's what I mean by this. What if you had a claim where, you thought that your headaches were caused by the ringing in your ears, the tinnitus, but then, maybe another doctor gave another opinion, and now they think that your headaches were caused by your adjustment disorder, by your anxiety. They're triggered by your mental condition. Is that fraud that you thought it was, caused by one thing, but now you're doing a claim for something else? No, it's not. It's completely understandable, right? We think about the threshold for getting service connected. That threshold is at least as likely as not, meaning 50%. So the math just says there's room for a whole nother 50%. You can have another nexus. You can absolutely pivot. You have the freedom to do so. So if you hit a wall, back up, re-strategize, and you can go around. You can go try different angles, okay? Now, let's talk about appeals for a second. Again, this is if you want to go and have like the Judge Judy experience and have years, I'm talking a years-long process. Let me just tell you this. Let me ask you. Who here likes going in a courtroom? Okay. Who likes giving all your back pay, let's see, 33% of your back pay to a lawyer? Any takers? No. Okay. Well, then the appeals process is probably not for you, okay? The appeals process, you're in limbo for years and you really don't even know if you're going to get approved because you could have potentially added evidence because your claim was likely missing something, and have this done. Maybe this takes 6 months. And again, we had someone who took 7 years and they're still going on their appeal. Okay, now let's take a step back here for a second. It's also worth considering whether you're chasing, a claim that's sort of your pet condition because it affects you in your life so much, but maybe it's not the condition that will impact your actual rating the most. I had a client yesterday who's only service connected for tinnitus, but he's got a form of like bone marrow cancer. And he's also got a mental claim and headaches that are a result of his ringing in his ears. And of course he was talking about, the bone marrow cancer. Of course he would. That's impacting his life the absolute most. Well, that turns out to be his most difficult claim to get service connected. It keeps getting denied over and over again. At that point, it would make more sense to, believe it or not, focus on the migraines, focus on the mental condition that are easier to get service connected, put some points on the scoreboard, and then now you have momentum, now you have the agency to focus on that more complex one. It's all about grabbing the low-hanging fruit. So make sure you step back and make sure you're not, babying a certain condition because it's important to you and you're missing out on getting actually paid every month because you want to try to force the complex stuff first. Does that make sense? So remember, if you're getting denied, take a look at what you're claiming. Make sure that you're claiming the easier stuff first, right? And it's okay. Do supplemental claim, do another supplemental claim. It's fine. Let's talk about how many can you do and what do you need in order to actually open a supplemental claim, because there is a criteria. The criteria for opening a supplemental claim, the VA is going to tell you that they need what's called, quote, new and relevant evidence. So essentially it's got to be new, that's self-explanatory, but it's got to be relevant, meaning it could be a personal statement that you didn't have before. It could be a private DBQ, disabilities benefit questionnaire, or you didn't have a nexus letter. You can be a nexus letter from your provider, right? These are all new and relevant evidence and satisfy that requirement for opening a supplemental claim. And you can do this really as many times as you need. And especially, let's say you were claiming tinnitus caused your migraines, but now mental caused the migraines. That's a whole separate claim, so you don't even need a supplemental claim at that point. So remember, don't drop in a new transmission and a brand new rebuilt engine as soon as your check engine light comes on and you just needed an oil change. The vast majority, 90% plus of claims, probably you sitting there right now that's gotten denied even for decades, are due to simple issues that could be fixed with just the fundamentals. Stay right over here in the green zone and do not go over to the dang appeals process, okay? I can't stand seeing y'all waste your time and have all this stress with you and your family for years because you went wee and went straight to the appeals process. There's a proper troubleshooting approach first. I really hope this saves y'all a lot of time and energy, okay? If you like this video, please hit the like button. Share this with someone who needs it for sure. They'll love you for it when they don't end up over here. Cheers.